Thai boxing is a national sport in Thailand, as well as becoming an international sport which is at the forefront of worldwide competitions. We have the honor that we have world champions and authorities here in Auckland, New Zealand, where they take us into a passage to Thai boxing.
Thai boxing, also referred to as Muay Thai, is a combat martial art from Thailand that uses stand-up striking along with various clinching techniques. It is referred to as the art of 8 limbs or the science of 8 limbs because it makes its use of punches, kicks, elbows, and knee strikes, thus using 8 points of contact. We are lucky that we have a Thai boxing expert in New Zealand where he could shed light on Thai boxing. From southern China, trained in the 300-year-old Cantonese martial art Sifu LeeGar Kung Fu from the age of 15, recorded as throwing 27 lightning fast punches in 3 seconds, Master Phillip Lam was given the name Ghost Fist. In 1968, he moved to Hong Kong to teach for his uncle, where later he would bring his own teams of New Zealand Thai boxers to compete, and in 1975 immigrated to New Zealand and set up his own club, LeeGar Kung Fu and Thai Boxing Gym. Engaging in a conversation with Master Lam was both rewarding and insightful as he sheds light on the history of Thai boxing.
喺泰國呢，主要攞嚟以前呢就喺鄉下城市啊攞嚟即係練嚟比賽。到呢100幾十年嚟呢，就主要呢就係全個國家都有，經常差唔多每日都有拳賽打嘅。佢哋就出名嘅，從鄉下打到曼谷去，打到曼谷你就分為兩個最重要為拳場，就每一個禮拜都有比賽嘅。佢泰拳呢，主要呢就係差唔多有過千年歷史㗎啦。佢哋主要呢就攞嚟比賽咁啊。而家全世界嚟講呢，就差唔多有成100個國家都有打泰拳嘅，有泰拳比賽嘅，所以佢哋已經走上呢個世界化㗎啦。 所以泰拳就變成而家呢就相當出名。
Master Lam said Thai boxing has become an international competitive sport which attracts young people because of its straightforward gestures.
泰拳目的佢就易練、易學、易練，同埋佢哋有世界上打出嚟比賽有排名，世界上都有呢個排名，邊個你入邊個會？ 邊個會去得個世界冠軍？國家有咩冠軍咩冠軍再打，所以呢，佢招式就比較簡單，唔同中國功夫。中國功夫因為比較派別比較多，我本身以前都係練功夫同埋教功夫嘅，到呢20幾年、30年嚟主要轉成泰拳，因為係同世界上每個國家都有得比賽。 同埋佢比較主要問題呢，就而家啲年輕人比較中意練習易學同埋招式比較簡單。
I started Thai boxing when I was 17, and at the time I wasn't very fit or wasn't very confident in a fight. But after a short time training, I started to feel like my body was getting stronger, and I just felt a lot more confident about life in general. And the more I trained, the more that feeling got stronger, and eventually I started competing in the ring and had some success, so continued. And yeah, I really grew to love it. It was my #1 passion, and every day I just wanted to train and improve myself.
Well, I started, I think it was about 7 years ago. I've always had a bit of an interest in fighting and always wanted to try boxing and stuff like that, but never had a chance. It wasn't as popular back in the days as it is now. So, but I found a friend that trained here, and he brought me up, and I sort of came once, twice, 3 times, and then every day, just from there, just escalated, and now got into a bit of fighting and keep winning, and now it's a full-time job. So.
Throughout these years, Master Lam has taught, coached, guided, and helped many young New Zealanders grow in their sport as well as in themselves, and started to arrange for these young fighters to compete against the world's best on the international circuit. At a time when Muay Thai was not a commonly known sport, Master Phillip Lam and his trainers had trained up some of the world's best Thai boxers and made them champions.
80年代嘅時候呢，我哋都係仲係打世界功夫比賽。所以功夫嗰陣時呢，我去帶徒弟去美國啊、澳洲啊、香港周圍比賽。但係因為多數主要都係業餘嘅，後嚟我哋就認為你係如果要從世界上有得競爭嚟講，就要泰拳比較好啲，所以我就轉教成泰拳。然後呢20-30年嚟，30左右年嚟，多數係主要係都教泰拳。因為每年我都有舉辦拳賽，同埋帶徒弟去全世界比賽。因為而家我好多徒弟都世界拳王好多個嘅，我好多世界拳王。好似最近呢2年我哋中國打，我有個徒弟一陣先入嚟，佢喺中國打過，同中國拳王打過2-3個。都係冇一個有敵手，打親都 KO。我呢2個徒弟過嚟都好出名嘅。
By far, the best experience I've had overseas was in China. We went to Guangzhou and Zhengzhou, and both times I won by knockout. And the crowds were really, really great. Big crowds, bigger than we're used to in New Zealand, and just really supportive. Yeah, it was a great experience.
Yeah, definitely. I think the overseas trips were the ones to highlight. I fought in China a couple of times and also in Malaysia. I think it's a bit different fighting in there, just the scale of there's a bit bigger crowd and a bit more interest in it. So when I was fighting in China, I think it was a show with 11,000 people, which was it's quite cool to fight in front of. It makes you feel quite important and whatnot. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, every fight is a good experience. It's always tough, the build up is 6-8 weeks of hard training. So
Tony and Slava are two examples of Master Lam's world champion apprentices, and Master's LeeGar Kung Fu has gained its name since 1975.
喺紐西蘭，我自己嘅徒弟徒孫都有成4-5代啦。我喺呢度教咗我75年教拳，教到而家都30幾40年。我哋冇咁全個國家都10幾20個。我哋自己LeeGar，但係因為我係練LeeGar拳出身客家拳，所以到而家我係泰拳都係叫LeeGar，所以我本身係中國人，所以都係用翻自己中國人係嘅門派嘅名稱嚟紀念我哋嘅祖先，所以我哋都泰拳就用翻我LeeGar嘅名稱。
Master Lam's biography of his encounter with Thai boxing was very sensational and memorable.
個泰拳呢個就係我哋喺生頭細路仔嗰時，因為好多啲泰國華僑去翻去潮州，咁嗰時就係同我哋嗰啲門派周時打交啊，有時大家比武啊，大家練啊咩，所以我嗰時我練功夫嗰時就對泰拳有多少認識。後嚟我去到香港嘅時候，因為我師叔呢，佢係喺泰國住過一段時候，嗰陣時泰拳喺香港冇咩，仲唔係好流行。教泰拳嘅人得1-2個、2-3個啫，唔係好流行。咁我有時夜晚，因為我幫我師叔喺九龍城教拳，到夜晚嘅時候呢，佢就會即係揾多少教到我哋多少泰拳，即係咁啊，就對嗰時就比較對泰拳多啲認識。
Master Lam knows how to train his apprentice into world champions, and his apprentices listens and respects him. His apprentices said hard work, listening to their Sifu, and also fate provides them the victory of becoming world champions.
Just hard training, yeah. And we always listen to Sifu. He tells us what we need to do to win.
I don't know, just making sure you stick to the same game plan. I think for your training, you got to make sure that you always that you put in enough work. Once you put enough work, and you just leave it up to fate and just see what happens. But yeah, just got to do the hard yards. It's not easy. It's definitely hard work, but it seems to pay off.
In 2010, New Zealand set out to honour this great man who is a huge part of the history of Muay Thai in New Zealand, and many of his fighters then living abroad flew back to New Zealand and to be a part of the celebration, celebrating 35 years of kickboxing in New Zealand. There are many fighters around the world who have Master Phillip Lam to thank for their love of the sport of Muay Thai. Anna Ma, 9 News.